Okay guys, hi, it's Alan from $50 Film School. So today we're going to have a think about 3 different ways that you can enhance your directing. Now these may be rudimentary to experienced directors, but they're good for all of us to bear in mind. Now first of all, you must know what you want. You must know what you want for the film. Any crew member or cast member will be looking to you for guidance, and your job is to oversee the creation of a coherent and well-crafted story that works visually with a unique vision. Okay, so that it's imperative that you're clear about how the film should look and sound, and you have a very clear vision internally of exactly the way the film looks and sounds. You should also have a very strong sense of the nature of the performances, whether they're naturalistic or stylized, whether it's an overtly comedic piece or the style of the performances should be clear in your mind as well. And what you really need above all is an intensely well realized internal vision of the movie. Okay, so that has to be tempered with a well-informed sense of what is possible, because somebody could say to me, well, here's $5,000, we need a music video, or £5,000, we need a music video, and I would I have a vision in my mind, but it's not tempered by the realities of health and safety considerations, time constraints, and financial imperatives. So I could then say, well, what we'd like to do is hire a helicopter, and we'll go to Nevada and we'll film this in one take. In Nevada over a desert sequence or something like that. And we'll have an Arabian horse and a guy in a sort of bizarre outfit, and he'll be riding along playing the guitar. And it's a really clear image. It's really striking imagery. It's very high production value. But guess what? It can't be done on that budget. So our strong vision has to be informed by the production logistics that are available to us, health and safety issues, and obviously the financial considerations as well. And that can really only be achieved by liaising with people who know more about the business than yourself. So for example, say you wanted to do a tilt shift shoot. Well, you would need to speak to the director of photography and say, look, what are the implications here of shooting tilt shift? Do we need to hire a lens? If so, how much will it be? And other considerations that have come to mind for me have been, for example, on a shoot that might have required a phantom camera, where you're shooting super fine quality slow motion. You might be shooting, 10,000 frames a second or something like that. And most filmmakers go, oh, this would look great in slow motion. But the ramifications of that in terms of the file sizes that are needed and the amount of light that's needed and the hire of the equipment, which I think is around $1,000 a day, something in that region for phantom camera. At least I've heard that being quoted. You'll definitely pay less, you'll definitely pay more in some instances probably. And the operator, and then of course the render times, just to deal with the huge file, render it and output it. You're looking at exponential increase in the production costs of your project. So be informed about the practical considerations of how you actually realize your vision for the project. Okay, number 2. Do your homework. And obviously this feeds into the first point. It's crucial that you're properly informed about how you're going to realise the logistical and practical and health and safety aspects of the project. And in so doing, you've got to know the actual artistic merits of the text properly. In other words, you've got to know the script inside out, because that's where the whole thing comes from. Your vision should be really grounded in a thorough saturation in the script. So you've got to know the script inside out. That means that you're fully aware of the architecture of how the story is built. You're aware of, is your inciting incident working? Is your first turning point, working? Is your midpoint turning point in Act 2 working effectively? The rudiments of story structure, are they in place? The rudiments of character motivation, is there sufficient conflict? Is there sufficient motivation for your heroes or heroine, your protagonist, to go off in their journey of conflict, and so on and so forth. You will need to know the script inside out. You will need to know how you convey your vision visually, in other words, storyboard effectively. Okay, so when you come to set, or when you come to rehearsal, or when you come to a pre-production meeting, you have really excellent boards. Now, they don't have to be beautifully drawn, but they do need to be able to convey frame size and what the actual subject matter is within the frame effectively, so that a DOP and an art director, or or the actors in some instances, can look at this and say, "Oh, right, I see how this is working, and I see how this story is being told visually, and here's the implications of what you need to do. So if you want to do this, then you need to do that, and that will cost you this amount of time and this amount of money." Okay, so you've thoroughly done your prep. Your prep is grounded in a proper knowledge of the script, and everything's then feeding coherently into a strong and well-informed vision for the artistic merits of the piece and how the story is going to be told visually. You must take advice from heads of department in terms, or at least be open to advice from heads of department as to how you best realise that vision, okay? Especially in post-production. Don't go into this thing with kind of, oh, we'll fix this in post, or we'll add this in post, or we can take that out with rotoscoping or chroma key, or any of that kind of baloney. What you want to do is be absolutely clear about what your shot should be, how you want to see it, and then consult with the relative experts about, well, can this be done in post? Is this a chroma key solution? Is this a rotoscope solution? Is there a CGI solution to this? Or is it best just to forget about this and do something else altogether, easier and perhaps more effective instead? Now, a post advisor will let you know the budgetary and time implications of each decision, and also the technical requirements as well. So make sure that you don't burden yourself and others with additional time and expense, when a simple conversation at the outset with well-constructed storyboards would save you and others a real trip through a minefield. Finally, okay, we've had know what you want and be informed about the realities of how you achieve that. Second, do your homework, know your script inside out, and be able to prepare your work, show your preparation, primarily in mood boards and director's notes, and also great storyboards. And finally, number 3, communicate. The quality of your communication is the quality of your direction. Let's spell out the obvious. Let's say you have a fantastic vision for a wonderful script. You're probably briefed yourself in terms of how this is to be achieved. You've done your homework. You've prepared wonderful notes. You're equipped to understand this script and therefore draw out the best performances from the actors. You're equipped to work with the heads of department in achieving a really tremendous visual quality to your film. But you have no communication skills. So how is it that you expect to be able to communicate those things to the people that you need to be able to communicate them to? So your communication skills are absolutely vital, and all of us almost require constant upgrading and improvement on our communication skills. I find that there have been instances where I feel that I have made something abundantly clear, but I've expressed it in ways that are clear to me, but perhaps due to any number of reasons, that hasn't been clear to the other person. Perhaps they've been extremely busy, perhaps we communicated in a place and a time that was totally inappropriate, perhaps the other person was inundated with other information, or they were very tired, or they were just preoccupied with something else, or perhaps I just did not communicate effectively, simply forgot to mention things. So you've got to bear in mind, obviously, as filmmakers, when it comes into production and shooting, people are absolutely run ragged with tasks, usually coming at things from behind, often very, very tired. And there's a lot of adrenaline and sort of psychic energy buzzing around as well. So, it's not a conducive environment for clarity of communication. And as a result, you've got to prepare for that going into that situation and make sure that your verbal communication and your physical body language communication is effective and is backed up with written communication. So that, simple things like emails are CC'd to all the relevant people, and that you've expressed everything probably 2 or 3 times. Just try and make sure that the bases are covered several times. If apart from anything else, that if there's any confusion, you can then say, hey, on this date, this was emailed to you. If you didn't read it, that's up to you. Okay, so that's absolutely crucial, because in my experience, it's like 40% creativity, 40% visuals and inspiration, and really 60% communication skills. Especially directing, you've got to be able to express and clearly convey to the actors the motivation or the inspiration for how the scene can be played, or even setting aside that rather woolly stuff, just the simple logistics of the shot starts here in this first position, you go to this position, there's a focus pull, we change frame size, and then the shot ends in position C here. By the way, don't bump into that light. There's all sorts of simple, practical, and complex artistic and complex interpersonal elements to the communication in the cut and thrust of being on a live set. Okay, so allow for that, anticipate that, and then build that into your preparation. Okay, I think I've probably laboured that point sufficiently. Know what you want, be informed about how that's to be achieved. Do your homework, be thoroughly prepared with a solid grounding in the script, have wonderful storyboards with which you can assist your heads of department as you discuss and liaise with them about how best to achieve the script, and then communicate effectively so that the logistics and the practicalities, as well as the inspiration and energy, are effectively conveyed. Thanks so much for listening. Please comment, share, thumb up, and subscribe. I'd love to hear from you about your experiences directing and being directed, and drop by and keep us informed. Many thanks for watching. God bless, and speak to you soon. Bye.